Okay, so today we are going to do chapter 3. We're going to look at chapter 3 in Solving the Mystery of Reading. Okay, Secrets of Decoding the Sounds of English. Anyway, okay, so we are starting on page 31, the sounds of English. English has a really complicated history because we have borrowed words from all kinds of other languages. And one thing that makes English more difficult is we can't really depend on spelling to help us pronounce words. And here are some examples of that. Okay, this word, we pronounce it tough. It sounds just like cuff, but as you can see, they're spelled totally different. So we can't depend on spelling for that. The next word, bow, sounds like cow, but do they look alike? Not at all. And the last word, dough, sounds like no. And you can see they don't look alike either. So that's why English is a tricky language. You can see that English really is a very tricky language, but certainly not impossible. Okay, so where do we begin and how do we know all these spelling rules? The fact is, we will probably never know all of the spelling rules. So we'll just begin with what we know, okay? And this is very easy. One syllable rhyming words, like in, bin, fin, gin, and so on. Okay, those are really easy. And just to trip you up a little bit, does war rhyme with bar? No. But they do look exactly the same. So again, there are not specific rules that will always help you know how to pronounce things, and that's why you're going to need a dictionary. And the way we get better at learning these rules is by reading. The more we read, the more we see these words, we can look them up in dictionaries, and then the faster we learn them. Okay. So, when we use our dictionary to find the pronunciation of a new word, we need to first look up that word. So in your book, the example is the word quiche. This is how it's really spelled. In your dictionary, the dictionaries may differ, but you will see something that looks like this, the K-E-S-H with a sign over the E that lets us know that's a long E. And if you didn't know what quiche is, the dictionary says it's a rich, unsweetened custard baked in a pastry shell. Okay, so in your dictionary, when you look up a word, the pronunciation will always be immediately following the word that you looked up, and it's usually in parentheses. The second step is understanding the dictionary pronunciation key, and that is on page 33. I don't expect you to be able to see this, but it's in a box here. And this is the key. Can you not see it? It's in a box. I know you probably can't see mine, but just so you know, it's at the top of your page on page 33. This is a sample pronunciation key. Now, every dictionary has its own pronunciation key because dictionaries vary. They'll be mostly the same, but they do vary a little bit. So I want you to look at this sample key, just so you can understand what you're looking at when you look in your dictionary. All right, so moving on over to page 35, consonants and vowel sounds. Okay, I'm sure that you know already that vowels are A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. All right, so those are only 5 or 6 letters. But there are many vowel sounds. And here's an example. An E, if it's a long E, can sound like equal, or the E in equal. Or E, if it's a short vowel sound, and this sign lets us know it's a short vowel, can sound like egg. So even though there are only 5 or 6 vowels in our alphabet, there are many, many vowel sounds. And then, to make it even more tricky, when you put 2 vowels together, there are even more sounds, such as in the word out. When you put the O and U together, you have that ow sound. If you put OI together, you have an OI sound, like in oil. So, I mean, the thing to keep in mind is just that you probably know many of these sounds and you can read many of these sounds already. But just understand that there are many vowel sounds and there are not specific rules, unfortunately, for knowing all those sounds. So again, the best way to learn them is to keep reading, keep listening, keep studying, keep looking in your dictionary. All right, we're going to move on to consonant sounds. I actually think that I flipped that. In your book, it talks about consonants first and vowels second, but that's okay. They're all here in the same couple of pages. So consonants are all of the letters or everything that's not a vowel. Okay, there are 21 consonants, including the letter Y. But again, as with the vowels, there are many consonant sounds because when you put two consonants together, you get a whole new sound. So for S and H, they have their individual sounds. S sounds like S, H sounds like H. But when you put them together, you get the sh sound, like shut. And for C, C has two sounds in itself. It sounds like S and K. And then H, when you put them together, it makes a whole new sound, like as in chat. Okay, here's a tricky thing, and I think it says it in your FYI box. TH has two kinds of sounds. There's the TH with air, and when it says with air, it means that when you say it, you are letting out some air, like through your mouth. You're saying, so with air means as in thick, and without air is as in then. So you're not letting out a lot of air. Okay, I know that you know these basic things. You may not have ever talked about them, but TH does have a couple of different sounds. Okay, moving on to page 38. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is page 38. Syllables. Okay, you may also know this too, that a syllable is a part of a word. And each syllable can contain only one vowel sound. So, for example, the word cap. How many syllables does it have? There's one vowel sound. It has one syllable. Cap. What I like to do, or sometimes I do this in my head, or sometimes I kind of tap my fingers for syllables. It sounds silly, but for the word party, how many syllables are there? Party. 2. The word slippery, and I'm looking at page 38 in your book. These are the examples that the book gives you. The word slippery. Some of us say slippery, but if you look up the pronunciation, it's actually slippery. Okay, so that would have 3 syllables. Slippery. And I'm not kidding. I really do use my fingers a lot of times to figure these things out. The last example that your book gives you is the word photographer. So we can say it, photographer. That's 4 syllables. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about syllables. I think that you probably already know about them. So I'm going to move on to accents on page 38. Or I'm sorry, it's on page 39. Change it. Page 39. Okay, accents are this mark right here, and it tells us how to pronounce a word. It tells you where to put the punch or the emphasis of a word. So in the word carrot, if I look it up in the dictionary, it's going to look something like this. And this accent tells me that the emphasis is going to be on the first syllable, okay? Because the accent mark always comes after the part of the word that is supposed to have emphasis. Actually, I just said always. In some dictionaries, it doesn't. So you're going to have to look in your dictionary. We can talk about it in class. We can look at it in class. But in most cases, the accent mark comes after the syllable that gets the accent. So in the word carrot, I would say it with emphasis on the carrot. Okay, care gets more emphasis than it. And I always use this example. My dad, who is from Michigan, so I don't know why he talks like this. He says, turn on the TV. I don't know about you, but I say TV. So I put emphasis in a different place than he does, and it makes a difference. For those people listening, it's hard to understand sometimes, although we all know what a TV is, no matter how you say it, but it does change how the word sounds. Another good example is the word record or record. So in this example, if we're talking about a Frank Sinatra record, the pronunciation looks like this, record. Here's the accent, so the emphasis is going to be on this first syllable. So a Frank Sinatra record, you put more emphasis on the first syllable. Okay, but if someone says to you, let's record a video, okay, they're spelled the same way, but they sound very different. So if you look in the dictionary, this is how the pronunciation for this type of record would look in your dictionary, and it's opposite. First of all, you say it differently. Even the RE sounds different. In this one it's record, and in this one it's record. So the emphasis or the accent is after this syllable, so this is the one that gets a little bit of a punch. So we would say it, let's record a video. You can hear that the emphasis is on the cord part. When there are two accent marks, the first one is called the primary, and it's the stronger of the two. The second one, called the secondary, is the lighter of the two. So in the word dogfight, if we look it up, you can see there's 1 and 2. So which one would get a stronger punch? The first one, because the first one is the primary, stronger of the two. So we would say this word, dogfight. Dog gets more emphasis. Okay, the last thing that I want to tell you about is something called, I'm just going to erase a little spot here, something called a schwa. It's a really funny word, but definitely worth mentioning because it is the most common sound in the English alphabet. I don't know why they didn't make it a letter. But anyway, it looks like an upside down and backward E. Okay, so that's a schwa. And the way you pronounce a schwa is sort of like a short U. Actually, it's exactly like a short U. An example is the word about. If I looked up the word about in a dictionary, the pronunciation would look something like this. About. And you can see the accent is on the second syllable, about. Okay? And so that's a schwa. You'll need to remember that because it's going to be on one of your quizzes. All right, and I think that that is the end of Chapter 3.
Bye-bye.
Chapter 3 is called The Sounds of... Actually, no, it's not. It's called the... You were so good and you just went through your stuff and I'm just duh. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with just pausing for a minute. I did that.
I'm just going to pause. Okay, so if you could see Jen dancing behind the camera right now. Okay.